everyone, Nickel Noodles here, and today we'll be playing a new visual novel game. It is called Date at the Cemetery. So far, what I see in the title screen right here, there might be some blood. Well, not might be, but there's definitely will be blood, and I guess what I'm seeing based on it, maybe gore-ish, I guess. Well, if there's anything bad, I will likely cut it out or censor it, so do not worry. But if you're not fond of this type of visual novel, you can always turn away or watch something else. Without further ado, let us jump right into it. Sometimes dating Colorado felt harder than it had any right to be. You searched in places no one should ever search. Like speeding with a guy who looked twice your age and still lived in his mother's basement. Or maybe it was in this void of Tinder where every swipe led to the same dead-end conversation, where it was clear most people would only one thing. You really did try, honestly. Despite all your efforts, you came up empty. That was until that night. You went to some overrated, overpriced warehouse party with bad lighting and ear-deafening music. Not exactly your scene, but your friends practically dragged you there. Put yourself out there, they said. Meet someone new, someone different, they said. And someone different it was. You just gone through a messy breakup, well, let's face it, it's far too many nights spent single. You weren't exactly desperate. But it would have been nice to have someone to talk to. Someone to share a drink or maybe something more. Romantically speaking, of course. And that's how you met Avon. Though it wasn't exactly the stuff of fairy tales. Not in some our eyes met across the room kind of way or love at first sight. Oh no, you met him face first, practically body slamming into your drunken sprint to the bathroom. Turns out one shot too many and your lifelong lightweight status didn't mix too well. Who knew? But instead of brushing you off like any other colleague guy would, he helped. He actually helped. Held your hair back like some knight in slightly wrinkled flannel that's seen the wash away too many times to count. Made sure you didn't pass on the cold tile of the bathroom floor as your lunch made its ever so grand reappearance in the toilet. He stayed until the room stopped spinning, or at least it slowed down a little. Now normally you wouldn't give your number out to random guys you've only known for the duration of the bad life choice. But after someone literally held your hair while dignity shot through your mouth, it would have been kind of rude not to. Here you are, in the car of the guy who held you while you were voluntarily purging your stomach. What in the world am I doing here? You must have been scowling because you snapped out of your thoughts by a smooth and soft voice. What are you thinking about? You got that far off look. Like an angry cat. Wasn't that obvious? He stifled a small laugh, glancing you over slowly. Well, no, you look confused. Are you planning an escape route or something? He was always so teasing over text after party, now was not so different. Now was no different. Oh, me just thinking about how we met. It was an odd way to meet a date, that's for sure, but you wanted to give it a chance. Ah, the party, right? You could barely remember your own name. Wait, what was it again? He smirked, clearly teasing. You narrowed your eyes but played along anyway. Nickel. Right, Nickel. Surprised you could remember it. You turned and laughing in shock. Hey, first date and you're still teasing me? He chuckled and rolled his eyes, keeping one hand on the steering wheel. Putting his free hand up, he sighed and feigned defeat. Force a habit, I suppose. I'll have you know I excel at first dates. And hey, you haven't jumped out of a car yet, so that means you don't mind it. Kind of like a knight in shining armor that doubles as your court jester. He said, thinking for a moment, keeping his eyes on the road now. And now I get the honor of spending the night with you? I must be on a roll. You rolled your eyes, but couldn't help the smile tugging in the corner of your lips. His confidence was ridiculous, borderline cheesy, but charming. The soft hum of the lo-fi music in the background easing some of the tension in your chest. Something valuable made it easy to breathe, made you feel safe. Even from the beginning, when most people would have just handed you napkins and walked away, he stuck around. He's always felt genuine, even if he was practically a stranger. Say, are you into lo-fi? Should I save? I think saving should be... I don't want to choose like the wrong option. I don't want to choose the wrong option, but... For me in particular, it's okay, but... I'll just go with this. Sure. Evan smiled. He seemed to like that. Nice, nice. Knew you had good taste. You chuckled. Honestly, Neko, you would be surprised how many people only listen to it for studying or for background noise. I don't know, I find it calming. Helps clear the mental static a bit, you get me? Yeah, I can see that. I smiled at him, considering his opinion. I get why you like it. He leaned back in his seat, red eyes half closed as a mellow beat filled the dark car, head bobbing gently. So where exactly are you taking me? A slight smirk played on Evan's handsome face. You'll see. It's a surprise. A surprise? You're not about to murder me in the woods or something, are you? Evan shorted at the idea. What? No, I don't even have a weapon on me. Relax. The night breeze shifted past you as you took in your surroundings. You stared confused into the void of the unfamiliar parking lot. Wait, is this a surprise? A parking lot? I gave a nervous chuckle, trying not to seem rude. Not quite. There's that teasing tone again. We're going there. Evan pointed just beyond the parking lot. There you saw large gates and a orange stone sign that read Denver, Colorado Cemetery. Is that a cemetery? Bingo! He looked back at me with a look of pride. You like it? Oh my god. A date at the cemetery. Great. How lovely. This is not what I expected, but sure. Okay, actually, yeah, this one. Look at his face. Okay. Awan's face fell flat, smile priding on. He gave you a quick once over and rolled his eyes. Well, I like it. It's romantic, it's fun. In the mysterious, spooky sort of way, you know? Think about it. Peaceful, quiet, no crowds, just vibes. Alone. Is he flirting? Oh god, he's flirting. Awan noticed the sense of disgust on your face. He sighed and shook his head. Just don't knock it till you try it, okay? How condescending. Well, I did kind of judge him. You attempt to give a warm smile. Yeah, great date idea. Just us and a bunch of dead people. Great listeners. Avan gestures you to follow him. Come on. It's not as weird as it sounds. Promise. He looks so excited. You and Avan walked along the misty pavement of the parking lot. You slightly behind. Shoes crunching on the gravel beneath them. As you follow along, as if the path got dimmer and dimmer, the gate ahead looms like it belongs in some kind of gothic novel. It felt so off, but only for a moment. A small spider skitters across the toe of your shoe. You freeze, taking in the sharp breath, then continue walking a little stiffer than before. You quickly latched on Avan's arm without thinking. Avan stiffens in shock as he looked over to you. You okay? Letting go embarrassment, you sighed of nervous chuckle. Yeah, didn't really expect this kind of vibe tonight. I can see that. His face softened slightly and gave you a gentle smile. Don't worry, I'll make sure you have a good time. Wanna hold my hand? It's always good to save y'all in these types of visual novels. I'll make a sarcastic joke, play it cool, keep walking, take his hand. Let's just take his hand. You gently take his hand with a grateful smile. It's warm and steady like it's guiding you. Something about that brings you comfort. There we go. His genuine smile puts you at ease. I promise not to let any spiders slip under your skin. You laughed at his morbid joke. His touch felt grounding even for a fleeting moment. Appreciated. We can leave that to the corpses. Haha. Despite your own joke, you shivered at the thought. So gross. You scrunch up your face in playful disgust, your head leaning on his shoulder with a sigh. Yeah. Avon's voice trails off as you were daydreaming about something. The past still feels eerie, but somehow less alone. His thumb rubs against the top of your hand as you walk. It's subtle but comforting. You two continue to walk along the gravel path, the gate behind you fading into the dark. Your eyes travel down to his chest, catching a glimpse of his necklace. You were surprised you didn't see it before. Hey, where did you get that necklace? Avon hesitated, tensing up at the sudden question. Such a sudden interest. Well, it's my dad's, originally. As he averts his gaze, the air suddenly feels thicker. Oh, is it, like, genuine? Avon snorted at your question. Isn't that Sheen or anything, if that's what you mean? It's actually from a cult. Oh, cult! Oh god, you stop in your track, taken by his statement. Was he in the cult? What in the world did you get yourself into? You're in the cult? There's no way, right? Avon laughed at your reaction, genuine, but now slightly guarded. Not in the way that he was self-conscious, but as if avoiding a really awkward conversation. No, not me, not by a long shot. He's still laughing. But my dad was. Oh! And you know the apple doesn't fall too far. I'm not a cult, but I am a hoof! Oh lord. Alrighty. Let's choose this. Well, that's boring. I mean, so quirky. Yeah! You mockingly dragged out the last word, completed with a set of imaginary jazz hands. Avon laughed. It was more like a scoff than one of amusement. Cute. Real cute. It was meant to be harmless, a joke. But there's a shift in his tone. Subtle and quick, but not completely lost. He looks at you, still smiling, but his eyes look like they're searching for something. You both fall silent as the air goes tighter, but it was like he was waiting for you to say the wrong thing again. Alright. Whatever kept him interested. Which you definitely were not doing. Deciding to change the topic, you cleared your throat. As you walk beside Avon, your eyes drift downward, drawn by the way his fingers toyed with the pendant around his neck. A St. Peter's cross, dangling loosely on the blackened chain. He's pinching it between his thumb and the index, rubbing in slow circles like it soothes him. But it's not the necklace that's keeping your gaze this time, it's his hands. The skin around his nails is torn, raw, jagged, like he's been picking or biting at it for a while. Your hands, what happened? He freezes for a half second, just long enough for you to notice. Then he exhales a small laugh, too sharp to be casual. Ah, that. He kept walking, but shoves his hand into his pockets as if he was a child, putting his hands in the cookie jar. I bite them sometimes, well, when I'm stressed. Or thinking too much. His tone shifts slightly. He was quieter, distant, like the words are drifting somewhere darker than he currently willing to show you. You nod, the path crunching under your steps, and don't press further. You wanna ask what too much means, but something tells you you don't really want the answer. So instead you walk beside him in silence, Avon humming softly under his breath, the pendant still swinging from his neck like a pendulum taking down to something awful. The soft curve of the cemetery path crunched beneath your feet as the silence between your steps grew lighter. As the path faded into patchy grass, you noticed something just ahead, laid out like a dream. First of all, I don't... Why are we here in a date at cemetery? I don't know. I mean, this is what the title said, but... A blanket, snacks, and a couple of drinks, all neatly placed in the clearing between all the headstones. You pause in front of the immediately romantic display. Wait, was this already here? When did he have time for that? Avance glanced over with a crooked smile as if caught. Yeah, I like to be prepared. Yeah, really prepared. She stared at the picnic ahead in surprise. How long did it take for him to do this? He gave you a charming smile, taking your hand, guiding you to the blanket. He sat with his legs stretched out comfortably, hands falling behind him like this was a routine. Over the years, I've gotten used to setting things in advance. It's a habit of mine. Sometimes I don't always get much time to plan, so when I can, I make it count. His voice dipped lower, like he's remembering something, but he didn't elaborate, and you weren't sure if it was really your place to push. You slowly sat behind him, eyeing the picnic-like setup. So what is all this anyway? You nod to the bank and a small spread of food and drinks laid out. Are you trying to romance me or trying to put me in a food coma? You inch closer to Evan, getting comfortable. Evan chuckles, getting comfortable in his position, but not pulling away. A little of both, maybe. Let's see. Evan reached out to grab a bag of chips. We've got chips, plain and spicy, sweet and sour candy, a couple homemade pastries, sweet ones, nothing fancy. Letting go of the item in his hand, he taps a small cooler near the center. Then there's water, juice, soda, and a few energy drinks. If you're into that. You made the pastries? Alan grinned. What do you think, I'm all graveyards? I can bake. He chuckles to himself. Badly, but it still counts. You glance at the food again, then back to him, appreciative smile on your lips. This is actually really thoughtful. Like I said, I like to be prepared. You should never forget that. So drinks, what's your pick? You have to choose a drink. For me, my go-to is always water. Occasionally soda. I don't drink it as often. Juice, I rarely drink it as well. If I'm able to get it, I will get these two. Same as energy drink, I don't drink it much either. Water? I don't want to go too, boring or something. Let's go with the soda. Let's go with this. Soda, classic choice. You're reaching for the can, you pop the tab, the fizz crackling between you. Sometimes it hits the spot. Evan watches you with a playful smirk but doesn't reach for one for himself. Instead, he goes for the juice. I like it every now and again, when the vibe is right. Alban takes a long sip of his own drink, as you do. That hits the spot. You looked over the rest of the setup, eyeing the snacks laid out. Okay, be honest. Are you trying to be romantic or just fatten me up for the ritual sacrifice? Alban grins at your question, lodging back on his hands without breaking eye contact. Can it be both? I think that's the best kind of romance. He waved his hand over the snacks. Alright, menu time. Why are you making me choose? Sweet candy, I'm okay with sweets. It's alright. Sour candy, I'm not really a big fan of, but pastries, I love pastries, so chips are yummy too. Um, will I get poisoned if I choose this? Now that is the question. Which one would I choose? I'm just my curiosity is here. I know I saved, right? Yeah, I did. Alright, let's do this. Pastries, I mean, you bake, now I have to judge you. You take one of the small, uneven pastries and raise your eyebrow. Advanced marks, but looks a bit self-conscious. Come on now, be gentle. They were made with a psychotic episode or two. Great, that's lovely. Despite a slightly concerning comment, you take a bite. It's actually really good. Soft, sweet, and surprisingly not a crime against humanity. And it's impressive for someone who sucks at baking. Van Holmes, proud of himself. As time passed, you ate snacks and spoke about various things. Sometimes it was about nothing, sometimes it was about an actual topic. But overall, you were both enjoying yourselves and each other's company. But you couldn't help but wonder, though, how did you even get in here? Aren't you worried about getting caught or something? You were nervous of the idea of the security guard catching you both out here. Owen chuckled, rubbing his shoulder. Not really. Trespassing's never been a big deal to me. Back when I was younger, some friends and I used to sneak into way worse places. Abandoned factories, rooftops, and train yards. Avon's gaze shifted to the side for a moment. A few houses, too. He laughed to himself as if it was harmless nostalgia. We got into a bunch of other legal stuff, too. Still do sometimes. You eyed him with a worried look, brows raising. He just grinned wider. Relax, that's not why we're here tonight. He gestured loosely to the graves around you. I actually work here, funeral side of it or morgue, depending on what sounds spookier to you. So they don't really care what I come in or out, as long as I don't piss anyone off. You know, dig up grave or mess with a coffin or two. He laughed again like it was a joke. You weren't sure it was. You tilted your head, taking that in. Most people wouldn't go near a morgue, let alone work in one. But he seemed unfazed. You worked at a morgue? How long? Avon hummed thoughtfully. 5 years. I would have started sooner, but I got caught up in some things after high school. Avon sat upright, gazing at the full moon. The morgue doesn't bother you? Are you like receptionist or something? That made him actually laugh. No, I do full works. Embalming, cleaning, prepping down to the nitty gritty. This doesn't really bother me. Never has. He looked at you for a second. Something flickered behind his eyes. It's all natural anyway. Plus, he bit his lip slightly, a strange glint in his expression. I quite like it. You like death? You hesitated. Or your job. He giggled, quiet and low, leaning back on his elbows and turning his face away from yours. Both. Again, let's save before we make a choice, like always. That's honestly fascinating. Okay, that's kind of weird, not gonna lie. So wow, you're not only a corpse stylist, but you're like a hot green reaper? Avon burst into general laughter, falling back onto the blanket with a soft thud. Ha! God, that's a first. He turned his head to look at you, a slightly wicked grin on his lips. But yeah, I guess I am the hot ambassador of death in a way. He giggled at the idea. I should put that on the resume. You laughed too, though part of you still wondered if he'd actually put that on his resume. The silence between you grows. It's not hostile, but cautious. You glance at him, watching the way he stares ahead, expression unreadable now. The blanket spread out on the grass, the soft clink of drink bottles, and the faint rustle of candy wrappers, and the hum of distant wind fills the air. Wow, all this eating has me thinking I haven't really asked too much about you, besides work and you saving my ass from further embarrassment. Avon leans back on his hand, giving you a slow grin. Oh yeah, a common hobby of mine. But besides parties, cemeteries, and, saving drunks. He side-eyed you for a moment before sniffling and laughed. I've actually got some surprises up my sleeve. Like collecting old trinkets, exploring abandoned buildings, watching banned or illegal films. Stuff like that. He seemed proud of his spread of hobbies, a smile stretching on his face. You seem like the grimy type, huh? There's a low hum in Alvin's throat. Actually, I like cleaning. Like, obsessively. Back when I was still with my dad, he kind of stopped giving a damn, so I picked up around the house. I'd say it's a good hobby for a mortician. Just another part of the job. Wow, polar opposite interests, huh? You burst in mild amusement. Alvin raised a brow like you to challenge him. What? No, I have more normal hobbies too. He shifts, turning fully toward you, the corner of his mouth pulling into a smirk. You probably counted on that I liked lo-fi earlier, but I also mess with making candles. It's pretty fun. That and I go up in the mountains pretty often to ski or snowball. Man, I do love it. Just the wind, the speed, and the crunch of the snow. It's dangerous, sure, but that's what I like about it. You listened to him with interest, smiling as he spoke about his hobbies. Alvon smiles back before averting his eyes. He clicks his tongue and thought, voice softened, I'm sure. Yeah, the mountains are kind of my thing. You tilt your head, about to respond, but Alvon opens his mouth first. You cut him off. Oh, I'm sorry. He blinks and chuckles, waving you forward to go ahead. No, go first. You nodded slightly before speaking teasingly. So candles. I never would have thought someone like you would be into making candles. Avon laughs, eyes flicking away with a sheepish smile. Yeah, the doctor says it's nice to have a soothing, calming hobby. What? He looks back at you, catching your shocked depression, then bursts into laughter. I'm joking. Rolling his eyes, he continues, tone softer now. When I was younger, my baby sister Arden actually loved it. It was a nice distraction from, well, our parents constantly bickering. His fingers tap idly on the blanket as he speaks, like he was keeping account of his thoughts. I used to watch her and my mom make them. Avon's face loosened in melancholy. Honestly, I thought it was dumb at the time. Candles? Who'd care, right? He extends to his nose with a nostalgic smile. Then one night, she had to make one for school show tell. Mom was working late. Dad refused to help, so I was in the kitchen trying to make sure she didn't get burned by the wax. He shook his head quietly, his lips parting slightly before swallowing the emotion that threatened to come out. Instead, he murmured a laugh. She's only 2 years younger than me, but I knew my parents would kill me if I let her hurt herself. So I helped, and I just kept the hobby since. You hummed an acknowledgement, and he coughed to wave off any lingering awkwardness. Oh, though it wasn't awkward for you at all, but must have felt that way himself. You smiled fondly at his awkwardness, finding it endearing. You shifted uncomfortably, letting out a shiver and curling in slightly hand, wrapping around yourself as you huffed out a warm breath of air. I didn't dress warm as I thought I did. Oh well. You laughed small and readily, trying to downplay the visible shiver that ran up his spine. Avon snickered quietly. Well, there's an extra blanket. He reaches in front of you to grab it on the other side of the makeshift picnic and hands the soft roll of cloth to you without a word. Gently taking it, you bring the fabric to your face and exhaling the scent without thinking about it. It was nice, soft, and inviting, homey even. Unrolling it, you tugged it around your shoulders, slowly cuddling into it before holding it open on the other end for Avon. Avon's body stiffens as he realizes what you're offering. Oh, what? Get in here. Okay. Avon crawled over into the blanket, suddenly close enough to feel each other's warmth. You couldn't help but let out a giggle at his flustered and awkward state. So, does the blanket smell nice? You looked at him, face red in embarrassment. Ah, yeah, sorry. Avon chuckles. Don't worry about it, I'm glad you like it. I try to keep everything smelling nice, you know. House, car, myself, and even blankets, I guess. We both fell into a fit of giggles. Though some people say walking to my house is like walking to Bath and Body Works. He let out a giggle snort at his own joke. This was nice. It was weird that despite everything you still laugh, but the mind has an odd way of handling things. Maybe it's the blanket or the way Alvan said it. Well, hey, there's nothing wrong with smelling the candle aisle. The wind carried the soft rustle of the tree branches in the distance, the quiet chirp of crickets trying to fill the silence of the cemetery. For a moment, things felt peaceful. Alvan smiled, tightened in playful joy. I think that's the nicest insult I ever got all week. You hummed in acknowledgement. But I'll have you know that the scent is called Midnight Smoke and Cedarwood. Thank you very much. Very masculine. Very mysterious. You burst into a quiet laugh, muffled slightly by the blanket. Really, I thought it was vanilla and cherry blossoms. He rolled his eyes, but the corner of his mouth curled up into a smile. Ha ha. I don't know. I guess I like the idea of comfort. It's nice when everything else isn't. Feels safe, you know? Well, I guess that's true. It's working. The blanket, the smell, the whole dead people picnic vibe, kinda cozy in its own way. He turned toward you, his smile softening, eyes meeting yours. Yeah? He paused for a moment, genuinely curious, his hand reaching out slowly, settling on the curve of your cheek. You feel safe with me? You paused, feeling his eyes on yours. The question lingered in the air, not heavy, just delicate. You didn't flinch. Instead, you gave a small laugh as heat rose up your neck. Tilting your head, you looked toward him with a half smile. I mean, so far you haven't pushed me into graves, so that's promising. You weren't sure if you fully believed yourself, but better be safe than sorry. Amon let out a low chuckle, shaking his head at your joke. Such high praise. What can I say? My standards are dangerously low. Amon's eyes got soft to the side, a smirk pulling at his lips. Well, you did give me your number after throwing up. Hey, it was out of kindness of my heart, plus probably the closest thing to a fairy tale in this city. Or a nightmare. You wonder what he meant by that, but decided not to push and brushed it off with a laugh. Had one too many of those to count. But seriously, this place is kind of weirdly pretty at night. I didn't think I'd ever say that about a cemetery. Ivan sat up for a moment, probably lay out on his side and face you. Yeah, it's quiet, peaceful, plus no one ever complains about music or other sounds. You laughed, pushing his shoulder. Ew, haha. Calming down, you sighed. Is this your idea of a romantic evening, huh? Smirking, he nodded. Dead silence, a cozy blanket, and a probably ghost or two, classic. You shook your head, laughing softly at his ghost comment. Stupid. The shift in his tone was welcome, like slipping back into familiar rhythm, and for now neither of you dug any deeper. The two of you sat in stillness, your shoulder nearly brushing Alvin's. So tell me something. What do you do when you're not judging people's candle scent choices and getting dragged to a grave roast by questionable men? You smirked, pulling the blanket title like it helped you think. You mean besides silently questioning my life choices? Avon grinned with the chuckle leaning into you. Well, yeah. I mean, I've got hobbies, sort of. I read, sometimes draw a little, exploring here and there, spiral emotionally on the weekends, the usual. Avon laughed, looking up at the sky. Oh yeah, I can't forget those. You both shared a snicker before falling into comfortable silence. So, do you like Colorado? Avon blinks as if the question caught him off guard, then he lets out a breath and chuckles. That's a sudden shift. Yeah, well, not everything has to be dealt in trauma, right? He tilts his head, considering you for a moment, then his expression softens just a bit. Fair enough, yeah, like the cold's a bit, but the mountains make up for it. Have you ever lived here? Oban shook his head. No, I was actually born in Mexico. Mexico, really? He hummed in confirmation. Near Mexico City. My mom moved us up here when I was about 4. Said the air was cleaner. He rolled his eyes at that, clearly quoting. Not sure if she meant that metaphorically or literally, but we're here. You nod slowly, taking that in. Do you remember anything from back there? Bits and pieces, the language stuck more than the face, though I barely use it now. There's a moment of silence again, but this one feels easier. Less pressure, more like shared pause. Alon takes a sip of his drink before speaking. What about you, Neko? Born and raised, or did you crawl out of some haunted crypt nearby? I will gonna stop this first part of this new visual novel series, and I hope you guys enjoyed it. It is spooky, and I do kind of like it, but I will see you guys all next time. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you again with a new video. Bye bye!